We helped this brand more than double their new subscriptions started through email and decrease their subscriptions canceled through email by nearly 50% and help facilitate over $950,000 in revenue in just a few months during the process. In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what we did, because subscription-based brands should not be running their marketing and their email marketing specifically the same as other businesses. But yet so many of them are, and they are just getting so many cancellations and they're wasting so much money like this brand before I started working with them. They're focused on the wrong metrics, sending the wrong emails, oversending to their active subscribers, causing super high cancellation rates, and losing customers right when they should have had them. This information is genuinely not anywhere on the internet. Subscription programs are the Wild West, and I don't know any other people who is really sharing this information. But I'm gonna be walking you through exactly everything that we did, and I'm gonna be showing you all the numbers in the process. If you run a subscription brand or work in a subscription brand, this will be the most valuable video that you watch on YouTube. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm just pulling up the new subscription started here for this brand inside of Klaviyo. We can see the performance. We started working in August. You can see just the increase in new subscription started that we were able to accomplish since starting with them. But also, like, the main thing that we like to look at as well is the subscription cancellations. You see, earlier in the year, they really started to scale their ad spend, and a lot more people were joining into their subscription program. The problem was they had super high churn. They almost like doubled their ad spend, so they were getting a ton of churn because they were making these key mistakes within their email program, which I'm going to be showing you. But you can see in these periods right here where we were breaking records with these subscription program, we were getting close to as low cancellations at the beginning of the year where they were literally like a third of the size. And this absolutely changed their business and has helped them to scale like crazy. So let's get into it. That's what we have here today. Now, subscription brands, it is important that we look at different metrics here than just the regular metrics that you look at in Klaviyo. Each one of these give us very valuable insights. The biggest difference here is going to be your placed order metric. And this is where most subscription brands completely fuck it up. Because the problem with the Klaviyo placed order Shopify metric is that this metric includes placed orders from people getting automatic rebills on their subscription. And this results in inflated campaign numbers. Because say I was an active product subscriber, I get sent an email campaign, I open that email campaign, I don't do anything, but my subscription rebills on the next day. My card gets charged, Shopify counts that as a placed order, and that email gets attributed with that revenue. And so that email gets attributed to sale that it really shouldn't have included. So you see, like, there really wasn't that big of an increase here in performance on the Klaviyo placed order metric, but it's actually such a huge difference because these all included these subscription rebills, and they were doing hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month in rebills. So in reality, they're way down here. This is just another way of showing like how the email revenue compares like to the store total revenue. So 52% attributed revenue to email compared to unattributed 462K in this period right here. They look pretty similar, but now we need to start looking at the other metrics. Ones like the subscription started metric. This is really our holy grail. This is what we care about. And we can see just right here, just how low their actually new subscription started were. This is what we care about. How many new people are we getting into the email list? I don't care about the rebills. I don't want to look at my email performance and count rebills because that's not net new revenue. And so you can see just the massive difference in the subscription start over email. You can see as a percentage of their total store revenue, how big of a jump this actually made. They were down towards like 10%, 15%. We were able to make that jump up to 40 to 50%-ish. But probably more important, we have the subscription canceled metric, the most underappreciated metric, and most people are canceling their subscriptions through email and SMS. And so you really want to optimize to decrease your subscription cancel metric. We want as little as possible. This is where we can see right here, the subscription canceled. You can see right here, and we're going to talk about this later, the cancellations from campaigns. Look at how high their cancellations were from campaigns. You'll notice that there's almost none through this period because we wanted to decrease the amount of sends that we were sending to these active product subscribers. You can see as a percentage of the store's whole, so as a percentage, what percentage of the subscription program's cancellations came from email. You can see before, the blue, over 50% of the cancellations from the store were being attributed to email. We were able to get this down to near 24%, pretty much only coming from our billing reminder email. And so those are the metrics and some of the key things that we need to look at. Now I want to look a little bit further on the subscription program performance before I get into like some of these strategies. A few key metrics, particularly we want to look at retention and churn numbers, because any brand can really like scale up ads and get new net subscribers and be like, hey, look at how many new subscribers we have. But it's another story to be able to retain these customers. The brands that are able to differentiate are the ones that can go heavy on acquisition but not have any impact on their retention, or ideally decrease their retention, which is very hard to do at scale, or increase their retention, my fault. And properly executing email and SMS can significantly improve these numbers, which I'm about to show you. Reducing churn is very, very important because we already paid to acquire these customers. Every extra month that we get a customer is just straight down, back into our pocket, straight down to the bottom line, minus COGS, of course. And so we can look at the churn rate over time once we implemented our strategies, despite them significantly increasing decreasing their ads and their acquisition, we were able to decrease churn by 29% and save 26.8K of subscription saved every single month. And these are no marketing costs in here. It's just all they have is the COGS. And so we were able to save them a shit ton more profit every single month, over 6 figures at the end of the year of pure profit. You can see the decrease right here. When we started in August, we started right here. You can see the massive decrease in churn over this period. It's 18% churn rate to 14%, a 4% point difference, which was 29% decrease. This is how many churn subscribers we saved every single month. And again, this is going to compound every single month because this is new every single month, 26.68K. So this is a massive improvement. We can also see the subscriber cohort retention. It's a very fun graph to look at. It can look kind of daunting, so let me explain this for you. Essentially what we have here is this is looking at the retention, how many people stay subscribed with us based on the month that they joined. So we can look at, for example, July 2025. This brand acquired 2,074 new product subscribers in July. And by the end of July, month 0, 94% of people were still subscribed. That's what this number is looking at. And then we can go to month 1. At the end of month 1, which is going to be August, 78% of people were still subscribed. And then at the end of September, month 2, 66% of people were still subscribed, and so on right here. You can see the drop off every single month, more people are canceling. But look at the impact after we started working together and we started implementing our strategies, going from 78%, 79%, and 66% to jumping to 86, 85, 83, 87, 75, 70, 70 right here. You can see right here, 51% to 59%, and then you can see the impact right here as well. And so it's clear that we're able to retain customers at a higher rate based on the strategies that we were able to do for this brand. Okay, so those are the numbers. Pretty clear that we helped them add a ton of money back into their pocket. Real quick, if you want these results for yourself, I'm gonna have a couple of links in the description if you wanna work with myself and my team. In option 1, you could have myself and my team fully manage all this for you like we did for this brand in this case study. Or option 2, you can join my 90-day mentorship program where you can work with my team and we'll build all these strategies for you. You just have to execute the emails on your own. Daily office hour calls there, 24/7 Slack access to me and my team, and a weekly mastermind call with me. Click the link below if either one of those are interesting to you. Okay, so you've seen some of the results. Now let's get into the actual email and SMS initiatives that we did to achieve these numbers. So there are a ton of things that we did here, and all this just comes down to the strategy and being able to see like what the high levers are. And the first high lever that I'm gonna talk about are billing, reminder email, and our transactional emails optimization. Most brands just set up their recharge or their Skio integration and they just call it good and they go with whatever the subscription platform offers them as far as like the emails that they send out. Just like this brand here, and that was a huge mistake because it was wasting a ton of revenue. And I want to talk about the billing reminder email specifically. This was the biggest lever that we were able to pull. Most subscription brands lose a shit ton of customers on billing reminders. Essentially, billing reminders, you're legally required to send people a reminder email when they're subscribed to something that they're about to get charged. So the platforms automatically have it set up for 3 days before a customer is about to get charged. It'll send them an email being like, hey, you're about to be charged. If you want to cancel your subscription, you can do so here. And a lot of people are going to cancel off this, not necessarily because your product isn't good, but because this reminder email is just framed like a warning. And it's like, hey, you're about to be charged. Take action now if you want to change it. And obviously people are going to cancel at a high rate if you send that, which is what this brand had. And it's what every single brand that is automatically connected with Recharge and Skio sends. Because a well-optimized billing reminder is going to reframe this charge as value. And it's not going to be a warning. And this is going to reduce cancels immensely. You could even take this a step further. If you want to be aggressive, you could just not send this email in the states where it's not legally required. Because technically there are, I believe, 13 states where you're legally required to, and 37 states where you don't necessarily have to send this email. So you could segment those out and only send this to people who you have to legally send it. And you're gonna make a lot more money because if you don't tell people and then they get charged, then they'll forget at times and then you're gonna make more money. But ethically, maybe you wanna send it. I recommend you send it. I think it's good practice. But we have some brands that wanna be aggressive and we segment that out. But anyways, we wanted to do it for this brand, so we sent it to everybody. And so some key principles that we wanna do, we wanna frame the reminder with excitement. We wanna showcase what they're getting. We wanna use the dynamic order details to show exactly what the customer is subscribed to. Give them easy control, not feel like they're locked in, and then reinforce the subscriber specific perks like free gifts, savings, flexibility, and all that good stuff. And so I'm gonna show you the before and after, and kind of how it looks, but before, 8.6% cancellation rate. So we can see right here, the before, the subscription canceled on Recharge. For anybody who received this email, email, 8.6% went on to cancel their subscription, whereas the after, we brought it down to 5.8%. This took a lot of testing, but we got this down to 5.8% cancel rate. Now that is a 48% decrease in cancellations. This number is going to be more at like 25,000 on like a monthly period compared to before where it was at like 57,000. That is a massive, massive increase in revenue there. That's $25,000 a month in recovered revenue. And so let's go over like kind of the main things that we're changing. So when you sign up to like your subscription program, this is typically how those emails are going to look. It's just something super simple. Up at the top, subscription order reminder, and it's like, hey, you're about to get charged right here. It's just super simple, shows the dollar value, shows what the person is subscribed to, and then a big old button that says manage my subscription. So people see this and it just like looks scary, official, and daunting as like this automated email, just like, hey, you're about to be charged. And so people see this and they're like, oh shoot, I'm about to be charged. And then they see a big button and they're like, I should probably just cancel my order. And so they do that at a high rate. But an optimized billing reminder, what we want to do is reaffirm the habit of staying subscribed. We want to go over the benefits of staying subscribed, push people to delay subscriptions instead of canceling, and then offer some quick upsells as well. And shout out to Brian from 100C for giving this great example and template. Here's like what it looks like here. Your next order is coming soon. This is just like a lot more friendly looking, a lot more inviting looking. It doesn't look like the scary sort of charge automated email that's coming by. So that alone has a huge impact. We just say your next order is coming soon. Hey, your order is going to come your way in 3 days. Keeping up with your routine is very, very important for keeping up with your health goals. So kind of like reaffirming and pushing people on. And then we have the section, which is going to show their dynamic order. And then going into the actual perks of staying subscribed. Like you get 40%, up to 40% off all your future orders if you're subscribed. You get free shipping. You get to adjust or delay your delivery as well. You can cancel anytime. If you have free gifts or any other sort of perks, we want to put that in the customer's face before we give them the option to like change their subscription. And then we go into very, very important, which not everybody does. We have this need more time section where we allow people to delay their orders or skip their order. Now it might seem counterintuitive here, but the number one reason that people cancel their subscriptions with brands is because they just have too much product. Maybe they forgot to take their creatine or their protein powder some days of the month, and so they have a lot of product left. If somebody received this email, they might be like, oh, I have so much product, I don't want to get a whole nother tub, so I'm going to cancel my subscription. But the problem there is a lot of people will cancel and then they won't come back, or they'll cancel or then they wait like 2 months before they come back, and then you don't get any rebills. But we get to save that subscription if we push people to just delay or skip their orders, because delay or skips is going to keep them subscribed. It's just going to push out the order date a little bit longer. And then these are going to be just quick action links, which you can do inside of Skio and Recharge. And again, if people could call with us, we can show you how to set this up. But essentially, if somebody clicks this button, it's automatically going to delay their order. And they don't have to do any other work, just making it super easy for the customer. So this is very, very important to include this. And then we can include some upsells. So right here, again, these are going to be quick action links, which are going to automatically add these items to the customer's next subscription bill or the next subscription order that they have. And so we can have this. You can add a little bit more information. You can even segment based on what the person is subscribed to and do some upsells. And then all the way at the bottom, now we have the manage my subscription button, where if somebody goes through all that and they still are like, okay, I want to cancel, then you have it all the way down at the bottom of the email, rather than just putting it right in their face right up here. And those are the differences that we did to get the cancellation rate down 48%. Business changing results. Now there are a ton of other transactional emails that we optimize, but billing reminder is the biggest one. And I could literally make this video like 6 hours long, but I'm trying to keep it as fast as possible. And so this is just the main high lever that we followed. So make sure that you optimize this and get this billing reminder in Klaviyo. And next up, the next high lever is the list growth, which we were able to absolutely transform. Pop-up forms are overlooked so much, and a lot of people just set and forget. They think their pop-up form is fine, but that ends up costing them thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. What pop-up forms allow you to do is make the most out of your ad traffic. So this brand, for example, they are spending over 6 figures a month on ads on Meta. They're driving over 1,000 people to the website every single day. But what they had was a pop-up form that only converted 2.5% of those people into email subscribers. What we were able to do is, off of no difference in ad spend and viewed people on the form, 42,000 views before for 1.1 thousand submits, to after we got this form to 14% submit rate. And look at same amount of people viewing the form, but 5.8 thousand people that we got their email address compared to 1.1 thousand. No extra increase in ad spend. We just have 5x the amount of people entering into our email list that we can convert for cheap. The more people that we can get into our email list and our SMS lists off of ads, the higher our ad conversion rate is going to be, because now we can retarget these people for cheap. And then also the decrease in CAC is going to be very, very significant. Our cost per acquisition is going to decrease because emails are cheaper. If we can get people to buy from email, then they're more likely to convert. So that's what we were able to do for them. And it's one of the main reasons how we've been able to help them scale so hard. After they've been stagnant with their business, they were a little bit stagnant in terms of profitability. But after we cracked this and fixed the churn problem, this absolutely transformed things. And you can see just like the list growth, the difference in list growth right here. This is the same traffic on their website, but look at the growth in the email list right here. Now the problem with theirs was their form was boring. It was something like this, which just like the customer isn't responding to. There are too many words. This button says continue, so somebody knows they're gonna have to enter their phone number afterwards. And the customer has seen this a million times. What really works in 2026 is we like to use these quiz pop-ups right here. So you set this up by asking some sort of question. You say like, you've got this discount, rather than like, hey, unlock 10% off. Saying you've got this discount makes it seem so low barrier to entry. It's like, hey, you've got this discount. And it plays into loss aversion. The customer doesn't want to lose something. Whereas if you say you have 10% off your first order, that means like, oh, I have to go place an order to unlock my 10% off. It's just slightly different psychological framing there. And then we ask a question. We don't ask for email first. When a customer just sees this thing and it's just straight to email, they get overwhelmed and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna enter my email. They're already going to close this form. But when we start off with a question, it seems low barrier to entry. It's just like, oh, I have 10% off. All I have to do is answer this question. And then also the customer's thinking, oh, this is new, this is fun. And like, oh, I'm going to get like some customized sort of like personalization. And so boom, they get this question and then we ask them for email. And this triggers commitment bias in humans. Once you start doing something, you're much more likely to follow through. I make it this far. I'm like, I already answered this question. Fine, here's my email address. Then I enter my email address and then we get to the phone number and it says finish signing up with text to activate 10% off. And you're like, I already answered this question. I already gave them my email address. Like, I'm not gonna back away now. I'm so close, whatever. And then they enter it. And so we tested this a lot and we used different offers, but we were able to then 5x the amount of leads that this brand was getting off of their site traffic for no extra ad spend. And so that's what we have with growing the list. Let's take a look at what we are doing with the list. So let's look at the campaign strategy and execution here, which most subscription brands absolutely shoot themselves in the foot and waste tens of thousands of dollars every single month, just like this brand and the agency that they're working with before. Because with regular brands, you can just look at the Shopify placed order metric because all you care about are people placing like one-time orders. But you cannot do that with subscription brands. You need to look at things a little bit more in depth. We want to look at how many new subscribers are we getting in, how many cancels are we getting from the emails that we're sending, and we need to make sure that we're not tracking revenue that is subscription rebills. Subscription rebills should not be counted towards our email revenue. And so we could look at this brand, for example. So they have an email right here that generated $12.4 thousand. And so we're thinking, amazing, we're using the Shopify placed order metric, $12.4 thousand, awesome, I'm super stoked about this. But what they don't see here is that most of this revenue is actually subscription rebills. This was sent to active subscribers, and so the users like open this email, and then the next day their card just happens to be charged for their subscription, so this email gets attributed, and it just inflates their numbers. If we go to something like subscription started on recharge, which we care about, we can see just how low these numbers are. But the main thing, $640 in subscription started, we can look at subscription canceled, and look, we had $5.8 thousand in subscription canceled from this email. Absurd. And we can look at even order placed successfully on recharge. We can see that there were 80. So that's just like a little visualization of what this is. And so if we look at the before for this brand in June, we could look at their subscriptions canceled. So look at how many cancels they're getting every single email that they're sending. This was in June. 9.4K in cancellations, 11K in cancellations, 10K in cancellations, 8K in cancellations. They ended up losing $52,000 in monthly revenue by oversending to their active subscribers. And we noticed that these product subscribers weren't placing net new orders. And so it was completely pointless to be sending these people emails. If there's only downside, they're not giving us more revenue and they're just resulting in cancels. So let's just stop sending these people emails completely. So that's what we started to do. These people are using our product every single day. They don't need reminders from us on emails. I'm a firm believer that if you have an awesome product, active subscribers will naturally come back to your store and place other orders because you really don't see many cross-sells and upsells with active subscribers. And so that's one of the first big things that we changed, and we also increased our email frequency, now at full scale, going from 2x per week to 4x per week. So they were undersending to the people who hadn't bought from them before, and so we want to increase that to at least like 4x per week, and we just want to focus on strong educational and emotional angles that we know convert. And the results are extremely evident. So again, I want to talk about before June. This is a brand where they are only subscription. You can't really place one-time placed orders. And in June, again, we had $52,000 in cancellations, but subscriptions started were 3.3K, 2K, 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 4K, 4K, you can see that they actually only had $21,000 in new subscriptions started compared to $52,000 in cancellations. They were down $30,970 in subscription performance, which is just absolutely absurd. And it's just so sad that like there's not knowledge out there on how to run subscription programs, and agencies don't know this stuff. And it just slowly kills subscription brands. Because going over to Klaviyo right here, if you just look at these numbers of the placed order metric, it's like 4K, 2K, 3K, 2K, $41,000, $4,000. Like if you're just looking at placed order, you're not getting the full story. So this is why we have to actually look at subscriptions started, because this email had a ton of subscription rebills, just people getting recharged on their subscription. But if we go to subscription started, this is the actual true new subscriptions. You can see 3K, 2K, 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 4K, but let's go to cancellations. Is it worth it sending to all these people? We go to cancellations. Let me refresh this page and we look at cancellations, 11K, 11K, 10K, 9K. So that's what we see here, the cancellations right here versus the subscription started, and that's why they were negative. So what we changed, increase the volume, upgrade the email creatives, and update the segmentation. So updated segmentation, exclude people who are actively subscribed to our product, better sending strategy, and better performing creatives. We really didn't increase the volume too much until November, but you can see in October right here, look at these subscription cancels. Pretty much no cancellations. $537 in cancellations in this period. But we look at subscription started, and we're at $24,000 in subscription started for this period. 5K, 2K, 2.6K, 2.5K, 3K, 1K. And so they went from down $30,000 in their subscription program to then after being actually positive $24,000. That is over a $50,000 swing. And in November, we really took things to the next level. We sent a lot more emails and we went more with our like regular email campaign strategy, but also this was Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We can see in cancellations, there were only 1.7K in cancellations. You can see right here, because we're not sending to our active product subscribers. Let's just focus on all of the people who haven't bought from us before or they've churned their subscription, and all the new people coming in from all the list growth that we're growing with our pop-up forms. And let's just go crazy on the people who haven't bought from us before. And we can see subscription started right here. We can see the performance of all of these emails and the frequency that we're sending, the engagement rates that we're getting. We ended up going to positive 97.6 thousand, completely transforming the business and helping them achieve the numbers that you saw. As far as like non-discount campaigns that our team puts together, here's just like a couple of examples. High converting emails with big buttons above the fold as high as we can, very clean design, education and engaging sort of stuff. So like wording the side effects of wearing our products, and so nonstop compliments. So having some fun with it with some cool product sections. And then for like CPG brands, like ditch the hangovers, keep the good times rolling. Here's what's inside, so educating what's inside. And then like having engaging campaigns. Like for this brand, the customer base just likes star signs and astrology. So we do this sort of stuff like at every new season, like Aries season is here, and then having products just for that. So that is the campaign strategy that absolutely transformed their performance and reduced their churns. So we optimized their billing reminder emails and their other subscription transactional emails. We absolutely exploded their list growth. We updated their campaign strategy and increased the volume, updated the segmentation. We also did a core flow revamp. So with the help of all the increased list growth, we were able to pump up the flow subscription started a ton. That's what we care about, looking at subscriptions started. How many subscriptions are we starting via our flows? Their flows before really lacked depth. They were 1 or 2 emails in length. They were missing the cart abandon flow. They were missing the site abandon flow, and they just were not in depth. So what we did was we started to extend all of the core flows to 4+ emails each. That's what we found to be optimal. We customized content for non-buyers and then past buyers to help with conversions. You can see the results right here, just the massive increase once we started in August, going from, you know, like 20,000, less than 20,000 a month to cracking over $100,000 in individual months. You can see the campaigns as well right here, but mainly we're just looking at flows. And so these were the flows that we set up. We have the welcome flow. When somebody joins the email list from our sign up form, we're gonna have the site abandon flow. If somebody goes to the website, but they don't actually view any products. Browse abandon flow, somebody views a product. Cart abandon flow, adds to cart. And checkout abandon, somebody places checkout. And then of course, we're gonna have the post purchase, somebody places an order. And then a win back flow, if somebody cancels their subscription or they bought a long time ago and they haven't bought since, and then a sunset flow to clean the list. So you can see the number of emails that we put into place for each one of these, and these don't take into account the splits that we set up, customizing content for buyers and non-buyers. And then we also set up these simple SMS flows. These are the key flows that I recommend for SMS. You don't need to go too crazy for them, and you technically legally aren't allowed to send more than 1 SMS for your abandonment flows, and so we only set up 1 for our abandonment flows, each one of them, so site abandon, browse abandon, cart abandon, checkout abandon, each one of them just 1 message. Have the welcome flow be 3 SMS, so just follow up on their welcome discount, and then a win win-back flow if somebody bought a long time ago or they churned a subscription. Again, there are a ton of subscription flows that we set up as well. Churn, subscription, win-back, all that sort of stuff, but not really going over that right now. But here's like some educational flow emails. This is like, for example, a pre-purchase welcome email. So like, here's like the difference behind us, and here's like a reminder on your welcome discount. So how we compare, this is great education for people who haven't bought from us before, trusted by this many customers. And so we have that. And then like a recovery email, somebody abandons a cart. So saying stuff like, hey, your order's ready to ship, reminder that you have your welcome discount, showing what they left behind, having some like risk reversals, 100% money back guarantee, free rush shipping, pause or cancel anytime. And then we go into some education. Again, these people who haven't bought from us before for this abandonment. So why we exist, how we're different from other people. Here are like some of the features and benefits of the product, and a reminder of the discount. And then like a post-purchase educational email. If somebody buys from us, we need to show them how to use the product, because if we want people to stay subscribed with us, they need to make sure they're actually using the product. And so we do stuff like make every breath count, how to apply your strips, going over all that, what not to do, just making sure that people are making the most out of their product. And again, all this setup, you can see the massive increase in performance. So those are the key things right here. Just some final notes. As far as like store-wide overall results, there was a 24% increase in store subscription recurring revenue over the prior period since when we started. There's an overall 9% decrease in active churn rate over the prior period, despite all of the increases that they were able to do in growing the program. And so some very strong numbers here, increasing the people joining, but decreasing the churn rate as well. And if we go to email and SMS specific, it's 182% increase in total subscriptions started from email and SMS over that period, a 98% decrease in total subscriptions canceled from campaigns. If we look at total subscriptions canceled as a value, it's 28.7% decrease in total subscriptions canceled from email and SMS over the prior period. If we look at the cancellation rate, it's actually way lower because we were just looking at the net cancellations, and over time we started to get a lot more subscribers, so we were getting a higher number value in cancellations, but we still were able to get a 28.7% decrease. Some truly business changing results here, and I want to give a shout out to their team because email is really only a small part of this subscription success equation. We cannot take all the credit for all those numbers. They've crushed acquisition, product, team collaboration, all that good stuff, and they make our lives a lot easier. These results would not be possible without them, so I want to give them all the credit. They gave us everything that we needed. We just helped facilitate some of it. So if you want this doc, I will put it in the description for you to claim it. You can have it for yourself and apply these principles and make sure that you are doing everything correctly. Links below again if you want to work with us or join my mentorship program. But that does it for this video. I have another banger video up next that you should definitely watch and stay here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.